If you ever have asked the question, how do you actually write the stuff of a book? Well, this is the video for you. Hey Riley Besties, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well. Today we are plotting. I'm literally going to tell you exactly how to plot a book in literally 5 steps. And this is super detailed, super specific. So if you're literally starting a book for the first time or starting a new project, this video will help you write the book pretty quickly. I do want to say that this video is amazingly sponsored by Milanote, but more about Milanote in the rest of the video. However, let's go ahead and get on to the video. Let's go. I have everything literally written down on this huge page and I'm going to tell you exactly how I plot my book. Okay, firstly, ask the question, what is the book you're writing? This might be scary because you might be like, I have no idea, Anna. I've just clicked on this video with a new book idea and I don't know everything about my book. That's totally okay. So if you don't know what your book is about, think about the genre and think about the vibes. Yes, the literal vibes of your book. Think about it. These are the simple 2 things you need to know in order to get onto the next step. So for genre, for example, maybe you're writing a romance, that's pretty easy, or maybe a mystery, a thriller, a high fantasy, a kingdom-esque fantasy. Like, what sort of genre do you think your book might fall into? And then secondly, the vibe. What is the vibe of your book? This is my favorite question because my whole books are just vibes, really. So is it like dark vibes? Is it like kingdom vibes? Is it enemies to lovers vibes? Like, vibes can encapsulate everything. Just have them in your mind and then we can get on to the second step, because the second step is to go straight to Pinterest. Go to Pinterest right now, bestie. All you're going to be doing is basically writing the vibes or genre in the search bar of your Pinterest page. For example, if I'm writing a romance kingdom story, I'll type in romance kingdom and then aesthetic. The aesthetic part is really important. And then bam, you have a whole bunch of amazing photos to pick from. I recommend creating a board and of course naming it a project name. You don't have to come up with it right now, but just name it something. Here's the really important part. You're going to be looking for settings, places within those photos that can inspire your book. If we're going with my example about a kingdom-esque sort of a romance story, maybe it's a ballroom, maybe it's the prince's chambers. Ooh, maybe there's a photo that looks like the outside gardens and these beautiful stone statues and this maze of hedges. Are like, these are the places that you're going to be pinning to your board. Have fun with this, put on some cool music and just like chill out. This is my favorite part of the process, so have some fun. And then we're already up to the third step. What you're going to be doing is creating a little table, and this is called my setting scene table, and this is what I use to create my books, because I personally think that literally a book is just a string of scenes, but I'll explain that further. Basically, this little table that you're going to be doing in one column settings, in the other column scenes, and from your Pinterest page that you have all those places, all those sort of pictures, you're going to be listing a couple of them, or basically all of them, as many as you can, into the settings table. And then in the next column of the table, you're going to be obviously writing at the top scenes or actions, and these are basically the actions that can happen in your setting. Let me explain this real quick. So when you think about it, literally books are made up of settings in which characters are placed in. So if you're kind of asking, what the heck do my characters do? What the heck is my actual story? What is the feeling of my book? It is this. Basically imagining your characters in these settings and then thinking about what they do. What is the action that they do in that setting, in that place? For example, if I have listed into the settings column the castle gardens, then I'll be able to think about what can happen in those palace gardens. Maybe the prince gets kidnapped, maybe a couple gets lost, maybe the hedge eats them up, maybe a secret relic is like buried there and unearths itself. Like, it can literally be anything. Just write down these ideas, whatever comes into your mind, and they can help you get ideas for the future into actually writing the scene. Some things that might help here is maybe asking, what do your characters think of the setting? For example, a ballroom, like what does your main character think? Like, do they like it? Do they hate it? Do they want to dance? Do they want to stand to the corner? And this is literally how the string of ideas comes out. Like if the character maybe doesn't want to be there, maybe they bump into someone trying to get away, and then champagne falls everywhere, and then there's a whole scene, and then the prince ends up seeing the main character. Do you understand? Like that literally just becomes a scene like that. Now that you have a bunch of those scenes or settings, we can move on to the fourth step. Okay, so the fourth step is to pick your starting point of your book. If you don't already have one, if you maybe have a really specific scene that you came up with the idea for, definitely just stick to that and explore that. But if you don't yet have a scene that you want to start with, think about the most exciting action or exciting scene that you come up with in that big list in that table. This will become your inciting incident, which will be the start of your book, and then you can pick another one that can lead to like the next plot point, the next plot point, and the next plot point. And then in step 5, all you're doing is literally trying to find links to these scenes. For example, the ballroom scene, it's really clear. You can see how that can link into a palace garden scene where maybe your characters need some air and they go outside and they see each other and have a moment together, or maybe something happens in the maze and they get lost, for example. Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about like a really cool idea. Let me just talk about it for a second. And this is literally what happens. Like I literally just get ideas from talking out loud. Anyways, the idea is like, can you imagine if there's like a party going on and then in the mazes there's like a grave, like there's a grave maybe in the middle of the hedge of the royal family that used to live in the castle. And can you imagine if like there's a bride, kind of like giving me Corpse Bride vibes, where a bride comes up from the earth and then walks throughout the maze. Maybe it's like a haunted maze. Because I was thinking like maybe she just unearths like a princess who ended up dying really young, and then all she wants to do is to go to the ballroom, but maybe she's a ghost and can't, so then like she ends up drawing party goers into the maze so she can just feast on them. Anyways, that's a prime example of how that literally came off my head. I did not script this at all or think about this at all before. See what I mean? It's really that easy. Okay, so now that I've talked a lot about how to actually plot your book, I really encourage you to keep watching the video because I'm going to be giving you a bunch of tips. 3 main tips about how to continue plotting your book. And the first step is to ensure that you have a really good writing platform to allow you to actually write your book and plot and structure your novel all in one place. And if you don't have one yet, I really encourage you to actually check out Milanote, who is the sponsor of today's video. I'll show you guys my Milanote right now. I don't know if you know, but I'm plotting a new book called Project Samson. It's a post-apocalyptic book, which is really cool, but it's kind of like a dystopian. And this is what my book looks like currently. Milanote is just like so aesthetic, and I've been loving using their platform. So this is what my homepage actually looks like, and I'll show you what I mean with how I've been using it to plot my book. If I go down here to Brain Vomit, you can see my settings and my scenes and how these particular settings, like the graveyard, becomes an action. So this is one of my plotting pages, and as you can see, my brainstorm process is pretty chaotic. I also have character profiles, which I've been brainstorming, which is really fun. And then of course a plotting process page that I've been really working on recently, where it's like the opening act, the rising action, climax, and everything. But Milanote truly is really great for brainstorming and plotting and planning your book. Milanote is one of the top writing platforms that I really do encourage in all of my videos. Especially if you're a beginner writer or if you're starting a new project, try it on Milanote because they have so many amazing tools. And the main one thing I love about Milanote is how freeing it is as a writer, because y'all know how chaotic it is when our ideas go everything. Like even this plotting video, it gets chaotic. So being able to have stuff in one place and being able to organize things, write to-do lists, bring different medias together like YouTube videos, music, Milanote truly caters for all of your needs as a writer in whatever step you are at in writing a book. And I also really love the aesthetic. The aesthetic of Milanote is seriously so beautiful. I don't know if you can tell from just this footage I'm sharing you, like it is just so beautiful, Milanote. So I really encourage you guys to check out Milanote. You can sign up literally for free, so I have that link in the description so you guys can sign up and check out Milanote today and hopefully plot your book as well. Make sure you check them out below and just give them a try. Trust me, you will love Milanote. All the comments on my videos about Milanote, when I have like a sponsored video, everyone's just like, thank you so much, Anna, for showing me Milanote. I'm just like, yep, you're welcome, you're welcome. So trust me, check it out. So now that you have a wonderful writing tool slash platform to use to plot your book, another tip is take your time. Like literally, when you think about it, plotting a book is a really big process, and although it's kind of made really easy through the process I just showed you, sometimes it really does just take time to kind of think about ideas and to really know what your book wants and what you want from your book. And if you watched a couple of my videos, you'll know that I use this vomit it sounds gross, I know, but I use a vomit page where I basically just write out my brain vomit for the book. This is really helpful because I can just literally get it out of my brain. Even if I don't reference that sort of page again or look at it again, I can still have it there as I'm processing and just getting it out. And that's the same with talking to yourself as I do my camera all the time. And literally sometimes ideas take time, and that's basically what I'm trying to say, because when I think about it, I know there's a quote out there that kind of goes about, think about your ideas and like plotting your story as shuffling sand into a box so you can later then build castles, and that's literally plotting. You're shuffling all the sand so then you can later write the draft. The last tip is quite chaotic, not chaotic, it's more so just like, is it healthy? I don't know. It's basically lucid dreaming, or like lucid brainstorming is what I call it. But it's to actively think of your book. I love to do this where I'm just like lying on my bed with headphones on, listening to a chaotic, crazy, deep, stressful but also epic playlist, thinking about all the sort of fight scenes, all the sort of sad scenes in my book. And it's literally that, you just like intentionally think about your book as you're listening, and you create scenes that way. You can act out dialogue, you can talk to yourself again, think about why you're writing the book, and you get really passionate about it, so you then get new ideas that feed off themselves. And then another string of this is to actually use characters as a plot device, which is quite actually necessary to write a good book. So what are your characters struggling with? What are they doing? Like, what do they want? What are their intentions, motivations, strengths, weaknesses, anxieties? Like what are your characters? Use them as plot devices. This can also help you gather ideas and also direct your book and your brainstorming very, very well. Because I honestly think a lot of books can be plot and character driven, both in the same way. So if you're having trouble plotting your book and just seeing what direction it goes, make sure you really solidify that in your characters. And I think that's a really important tip that people seem to leave out of their brainstorming process. So don't forget your characters, bestie. Don't forget. Anyways, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed today's little plotting session. I really did enjoy just rambling about these tips and advice that I have for you, and I hope the whole process of the 5-step I think plotting technique really does help you so much. I know that plotting technique helps a lot of people, so share the love. And of course, make sure you check out Milanote down below in the description. I have a link for you to actually sign up for free. Yes, for free. Check out Milanote. They've been a long time partner with me, and I just truly really recommend them, so make sure you check out Milanote down below. And yeah, I love you all so much. Good luck plotting that book of yours, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye everyone. You, still for people.